Welcome back to Navigating AI with Apex Blue. I'm Lyric, your storyteller-in-chief, and today we're building something painfully practical, the AI Profit Nudge. Picture this, one discount on a late-stage deal that felt harmless, and overnight it erased weeks of margin. I remember the founder in my story, voice shaking, the team celebrating a close, and then the finance team doing the math. It triumphed into a teaching moment. That's our hook today. How do we add a gentle, real-time nudge so that when a rep reaches for a discount, the conversation pauses long enough to protect margin and the relationship?
Pattern detected. This is precisely where small signals matter. Hi, I'm Nova. Let's be blunt and useful. A nudge only works if it sees the right inputs and routes decisions conservatively. Cost to serve, a lifetime value proxy, contract length or deal runway, and any prior concessions are the core signals. With those, you can apply conservative thresholds and always require a human review before any price changes.
I'm Stryker. Quick note, we don't need a data lake and weeks of integration to start. That's a solvable bottleneck. You can wire minimal signals into a local or ephemeral enrichment layer. Keep latency low, keep PII redacted, and keep the final action in human hands. Deploying now is about pragmatism, not perfection.
Pulse here, and I want this to be actionable. Let's streamline this into a pilot that the whole team can run. Short timelines, clear owners, and simple metrics so we can learn quickly without disrupting deals. Order creates momentum. Small experiments beat big promises every time.
Before we get into the how-to, let me paint a creative picture, because tone matters. If a nudge reads like a robot saying no, you've lost trust. Instead, imagine a soft inline suggestion on a rep screen that says something like, "This customer is near a high cost to serve band. Consider offering a non-discount upgrade or extended timeline instead. Here are 2 script options. Warm, helpful, and options first. That's how humans love this stuff. Let's make it irresistible, not transactional."
Clarity achieved. Let's define the decision rules. First, only suggest, never auto-apply. Second, apply a margin conservation threshold. For example, if the proposed concession would drop margin below a conservative band, route the suggestion to escalate. Third, add time or deal stage damping so younger deals or low ACV transactions don't trigger the same guardrails. And fourth, log hashed signals with short retention for analysis, not raw PII.
Architecting the fix. Here's how to build it without creating risk. Option A, local inference on the rep's machine or browser extension, so signals never leave the customer environment. Option B, ephemeral webhook enrichment. The sales app sends a small, redacted packet, gets back a scored suggestion, then discards the payload. Either way, implement latency guardrails. Suggestions must return in under 200 milliseconds to avoid distracting the rep, and fall back to a silent log if the system is slow.
And from an ops perspective, fail-safe rollbacks and human ownership are mandatory. Start with suggest-only nudges and require seller sign-off on any price or scope change for the first 30 days. Include a role-play training session so reps get comfortable with the scripts. And track decision quality metrics, margin preserved, impact on close rate, and customer sentiment.
Okay, creative framing deep dive. A nudge script should always offer next step alternatives, not just a block. Example script A, "I love where this is going. To keep you getting the same value without extra cost, we could extend your onboarding timeline by 2 weeks or include a constrained support bundle at no extra charge." Option B is a gentle pause. "Give me 1 moment while I check approvals. I want to make sure you get the best long-term result." Both keep the relationship warm and the rep in control. That's viral energy for a conversation, not for a discount.
One more signal level detail. Maintain a short decision runway history. Prior concessions and concession frequency are highly predictive of long-term margin erosion. Use a decaying weight, so very old concessions don't indefinitely penalize a customer, but recent giveaways matter. Also, add a confidence score for your LTV proxy and surface it. A low-confidence LTV should prompt more conservative suggestions or human review.
On the UI side, in-chat suggestion chips or a compact sales cockpit work best. Keep suggestions minimal, one-line rationale, 2 actionable options, and a recommendation confidence icon. If you must include a snippet for a rep to copy, make it editable. Reps will personalize language. And put a latency monitor in the corner of the UI so reps know when the system is behaving slowly.
Now the pilot. 2 weeks, owners assigned, and simple triggers. Day 0, baseline metrics for margin preserved, close rate, and CSAT. Day 1 to 3, roll out to a small cohort, maybe your top 5 reps who are coachable. Day 4 to 10, expand if AB shows margin improvement without close rate drop. Day 11 to 14, review scorecards, capture qualitative rep feedback, and decide whether to refine or scale. Keep decisions small and reversible.
I want to call out one human-first training move. Role-play the awkward no. Teach reps to deliver alternatives with warmth. Script practice. I hear you. I can do X or we could do Y, which preserves long-term value. Say it out loud. Make it feel like service. Creativity unlocked. Make the alternative feel like a gain, not a loss.
Let's address the big risk: sensitive identifiers leaving the environment. Mitigation: redact personal data before any outbound prompt. Use hashed customer IDs. Use ephemeral tokens, and retain only aggregate statistics. Also, require multi-party approval for any change to routing rules so governance stays human-led.
And a practical engineering guard. Put a minimum confidence threshold on any suggestion. If the model or scoring system is below that threshold, it should return no suggestion rather than a low confidence nudge. That prevents noisy or misleading prompts that could slow reps or erode trust. Precision wins here. Noisy suggestions are worse than none.
Metric design is simple. 3 scorecard columns: margin preserved, percentage, deal outcome, closed, lost, modified, and customer sentiment, CSAT or rep-tagged sentiment. Run this for the pilot cohort and compare to a matched control set. If margin preserved goes up with no significant drop in close rates and sentiment stays neutral or better, you likely have a winner.
All right, team. Time for the fun part, a live role play. We'll simulate a rep on a call with a customer asking for a last-minute discount. Stryker, you'll trigger the nudge. Nova, narrate the signals the nudge sees. I'll be the rep using the script. Pulse, you'll watch the pilot scorecard and chime in on the ops side. Ready?
Deploying now. Signal packet sent. Signals. Cost to serve high. LTV proxy middling. Prior concession flagged within last 30 days. Deal runway short. Confidence on LTV proxy 0.72. Suggestion: recommend alternative to discount. Route for seller approval. Returning suggestion in 110 milliseconds.
Clarity achieved. Conservative rule triggered because prior concession plus high cost to serve pushes this outside the safe margin band. Recommendation: present 2 options to the customer and require seller confirmation before applying any discount. Also, flag for potential manual escalation if the customer pushes.
On call, I really appreciate you flagging budget. That makes total sense. I can do 2 things. I can extend your implementation timeline by 2 weeks at no extra cost, which spreads the work and lowers our immediate burden. Or I can include a focused support pack that covers your top priority areas. Which of those would make the most sense for you? What about a discount? I want to make sure any change is the right long-term move. If a discount is the only option, I'll need to confirm approvals. Can I check and get back to you in an hour? That keeps the door open without giving price away.
Seller clicks Approve Suggestion and chooses option A. System logs hashed decision. increments margin preserved tally, and records rep feedback. Customer chose timeline extension. Sale closed as expected. All flows stayed local, redacted, and within latency limits.
Pilot scorecard update. Margin preserved increased on this deal. Close outcome unchanged. And rep sentiment tagged as comfortable during post-call survey. Small win, repeatable pattern. That's the kind of data you want at day 7.
That role play felt real, right? It keeps service at the center while protecting margin. Quick reminder, we're being conservative on purpose. Suggest only, seller sign-off, short retention on signals. Humans always own judgment. That keeps trust intact, both with customers and with your sellers.
Before we close, a short checklist for engineers and decision makers. 1. Identify minimal signals and how you'll compute them safely. 2. Decide local versus ephemeral pattern for inference and implement redaction. 3. Define gating thresholds and mandatory human escalation. Keep governance simple and auditable.
And for builders, start with a browser extension prototype or lightweight sales app plugin. Use a mocked scoring endpoint first, then swap in a real scoring layer with throttling and a strict latency SLA. Keep logs hashed and retention short. That's how you go from concept to deployed without drama. Latency eliminated, or at least minimized.
Operational 3-step household checklist for testers this week. 1. Pick 3 reps and 3 trigger types: discount request, scope creep, and checkout add-on. 2. Run a role play and the live suggestion flow. 3. Collect margin preserved, close rate, and rep sentiment data daily for 14 days. Assign an owner for each metric and meet on day 7 to adapt.
Okay, here are 3 immediate actions listeners can run this week. 1 probe rule. Set a suggest-only nudge for discount requests that would reduce margin below your chosen conservative band. 1 nudge script. Use the option plus pause language we practiced. Alternatives first, approvals second. 1 tiny pilot. Run the 14-day test with 3 reps and a matched control group. Track margin preserved, close rate, and CSAT. Those are practical, low-risk moves you can do before the month ends. For templates, prompt patterns, and a pilot checklist, head to apexblue.com/profitnudge. We built a starter pack with script snippets, a sample webhook payload, and a pilot scorecard you can use straight away. Go grab it and start small.
Quick governance note. When you download the pack, pay attention to the redaction examples and retention settings. Efficiency is inevitable only when privacy and controls are baked in.
And for the builders who want to hack quickly, the sample plugin shows a 110 to 150 millisecond round trip for a local-like pattern. Use that as your performance benchmark. Anything slower should fall back to silent logging.
If you run the pilot, track owner accountability, and meet weekly. Small adjustments every 7 days beat sweeping changes every quarter. Let the process lead, and you'll create momentum.
All right, that's a wrap on the Profit Nudge. We built a human-first, conservative system that protects margin, preserves relationships, and keeps sellers in control. Visit apexblue.com/profitnudge for templates and the pilot checklist. Stay smart, stay curious, and stay ahead.